Henny to bet me. I be in the zone. Gazing at the walls, depressed, kicking the phone. They take it personal, but only your mind if you could understand what a nigga feeling. 41st till I die, motherfuckers. I'm still braving you for blood, so we full bread. You ain't my dog trying to infiltrate the clique issue. I get with you into that on a later though. We overdose every day to death, we so close. I'm trying to tell these cats, but I let them do their thing. Ready for the bad news till the phone ring. Son is dead now anyway, over my head. Sick of revenge, son, bitch, son. On your behalf, trying to laugh out the drill gun. Conceal guns, play the hum. For real sons. For you motherfucking hoes.
Hello everyone, welcome to another live stream. So I hope everyone is doing well. Let me first check if everything is working properly. I think it is. I think we have sound. So let me get my chat on the side, my chat pop-up. Let me write something. Hello. Okay, so I hope everyone is doing well. I hope you're having a successful trading week. If you have any questions, chart requests, psychology, risk management, anything that you can think of, you can put it in the chat. I have the chat open on the side and I'm constantly monitoring for new messages. So let's get into it. Let me see if my screen sharing is working. So if I put this, okay, so that is good. Starting with the most important event for today, that would be the, let's see, where's my GBP/USD? It would actually be 1 hour chart, Bank of England interest rate decision, which is now looks to be retracing a little bit. So at around 1 p.m. my time, that is around noon UK time, we had the Bank of England interest rate decision. Now, what happened? Just a quick summary. It's definitely important to know what each of the central banks is doing so that you can have possibly an extra confluence in your trading, right? So I would say if you wanna build the trade, you have first fundamental analysis. Okay, second, you have macro environment. Okay, and then third, technical analysis. Now for the fundamental analysis, I would actually split that in two parts. The first part being the general news, such as the services PMIs, the non-farm payrolls, the unemployment rate, the manufacturing PMIs. And then the second part could be interest rate decisions. What is the actual central bank doing? You know, that is pretty important in today's world. Central banks can definitely move the markets. So you could actually write down for fundamental analysis, you can put A, just raw data, and then B, you can put central banks, right? That is how you can split. Fundamental analysis. So we had that decision. It was a cut. A thing that I always look at least once per week is the news calendar. So we had the Forex Factory news calendar, and you can see it here. Let me just filter it for, okay, all types of events, apply, and just the red folder news. GP, monetary policy report, official bank rate. So the previous number was 4.25. Forecast was for a cut, and a cut actually did happen. Now, what is important to note? generally an interest rate cut is dovish and it makes the underlying currency lose value. So how come we had a push to the upside instead of a push down? You know, the pound should have lost value on this interest rate cut. Well, the pound has steadily been losing value with expectations to the interest rate cut. So we have been steadily selling off on the pound, especially from the 24th of July. We just had a really massive sell-off on the pound, really one of the best sell-offs if you're looking at the dollar crosses, right? So as we approach the due date, right, people have already kind of positioned themselves for an interest rate cut. And then what actually happened, the actual number came in the same as the forecast, but we had a speech where the central bank, so the people working at the central bank, they're kind of worried about inflation. So they signaled rising inflation in the future, and their future projections also signal a little bit of extra inflation. Now, what could that mean? Well, that could mean less aggressive interest rate cuts in the future, or possibly a pause in interest rate cuts for the next few months. You know, if we check out the current path of the interest rate, there's also a pretty cool website. So Bank of England interest rate, BOE interest rate, and then we go to trading economics. And here you get a nice graph. I like to look at the 5-year graph. So this is basically the path of the interest rate for the Bank of England. As you see, lately it has been on a decline, right? So the Bank of England was dovish. We can take a look, July 31st. Was it July 31st, 24? Okay, July 31st, 24. Daily chart. Let's do the daily chart. July 31st, 24. Okay, so it was somewhere not there. Here. Yeah, so the pound actually started gaining value, and then the pound actually lost value as we kept the interest rate cuts. But what I wanted to say, we are clearly on a path lower. We're clearly on a path of lower interest rates. And now with this latest meeting, they have signaled possible rising inflation, right? So that means this line may become flat again. This line may go flat once again, and that's actually a little bit hawkish, okay? That could make the currency gain some value, especially in the short term, especially during this sort of bank meeting, right? Because they signaled rising inflation. So, getting back to it, something is off. Let me just see. Okay, so yeah, basically that's kind of it for the pound. I did have a sell setup running on the pound. Unfortunately, I did get taken out for a loss. So this trade ended up a loss. I took it on the 31st of July. It went into some nice profits, and then it reversed on the last week's NFP event. If you're not aware, last week's NFP event was a pretty big deal. Okay, a pretty big deal because we had a very low NFP number. We can also take a look on Forex Factory. If we go to last week, and here NFP number, so the actual number was 73K, the forecast was 106, and look at the revision. Look at the revision for the last month. So the revision is much, much lower. So this revision, last month we had a number of 147K, and it was revised down to 14K. What does this tell us? This tells us that the US jobs market is possibly weaker than expected, possibly deteriorating a little bit. Okay, so we may not be doing as well as we thought in terms of the US jobs market. And that made some, let's say, rumors and expectations of rate cuts by the US Central Bank, because the US Central Bank would most likely want to push the jobs market back to some healthy levels. So they may actually cut interest rates. When they cut rates, the dollar loses value. That is why you had a huge push to the upside in the pound against the dollar. You could also look at the DXY. You can look at the dollar index on NFP day, see how much value it lost. And another website which I highly recommend you guys take a look at is the Fed Watch tool. This one calculates what is the chance of a rate cut at a future meeting. So the next meeting will be at the 17th of September, then there will be one on the 29th of October, then 10th of December. So at the next meeting, a 91.2% chance of a rate cut is priced in. Okay, so that is very interesting. This skyrocketed from that last NFP print because no one really expected the jobs market to perform to be so bad, to have such bad NFP data. So most likely we're gonna get a rate cut, maybe even 2 rate cuts. 3 rate cuts, I don't think so, but maybe 2 rate cuts is kind of a good story. So looks like for now that the rate cuts are incoming for the US. So what does this mean for the DXY? Well, rate cuts should be bearish for the US dollar. When the central bank of the United States cuts interest rates, the US dollar loses value. So we could see in the future the USD losing some value like this if they actually cut the rates. We will see in September. Why am I not 100% convinced that they will cut interest rates? Well, the reasoning is inflation is still kind of sticky. With the latest inflation data that we got, it signaled that the inflation is still a little bit sticky, so it may not be the smartest thing to aggressively cut interest rates because that will drastically increase inflation. Also, you have a lot of tariffs. Trump is going crazy with the tariffs again. If you want to take a look, of course, I have a website for you, which is Financial Juice. Right there, you go to Market Moving News. And here, okay, the last one is the Trump team likes Fed's Waller's desire for rate cuts based on forecasts and favors him for Fed chair. Okay, that makes the US dollar go to the upside. But anyway, here you have all of the breaking news. And let me see some sanctions. Okay. Trump to impose an additional 25% tariff on goods from India. So Trump readies fresh sanctions against Russia's shadow fleet. Trump tariff of 35% on the European Union if it doesn't meet obligations. So you can see what is happening. The trade war is continuing, and yeah, that could be inflationary. So the Fed is in a big battle right now. Should they cut interest rates? Should they keep the rates the same? Should they wait and see? Should they do a small cut right now? Should they do a small cut by the end of the year? No one knows for certain, but the probabilities are that we will get 2 rate cuts in 2025. Those are the probabilities right now. Okay. So hope that was not too boring, because I know this fundamental data can get really, really complicated, and people don't really like to listen about that. Let's continue. So for the DXY, I'm gonna do my classic analysis at the beginning of the stream, sort of the beginning of the stream. I'm gonna tell you my forecast for the dollar, and I'm gonna tell you my forecast for the S&P 500, just to see what is happening. So for the DXY, for the dollar, I think, well, right now, I think we're gonna go a bit lower, right? I'm a little bit neutral at this current area. I'm waiting for more data. To be honest, I'll have more confidence once we get inflation data, which is coming out next week, I believe, which we can check out. So let me tell you which data I personally would like to see next week. USD, yeah, CPI, prints, PPI, right? So measuring inflation. Whoop. And once we get inflation data, I will have more confidence of do I expect rate cuts, a lot of rate cuts, just one rate cut, and then I will know more. Right now, I'm a little bit neutral on the US dollar. So I would expect for this to kind of range around at this area. And also, so we're getting the inflation numbers next week, but we're gonna get another NFP number at the beginning of September, right? So if I check my calendar, it should be, let me see, first Friday in September, 5th of September. Yeah, so basically the 5th of September should be the due date to get the NFP numbers. Once we get all of those numbers, I will have more clarity. For now, I don't have a lot of ideas. Hey James, what's up? How are you doing? So for right now, I don't have a lot of ideas in terms of dollar pairs. Like I was short, as I mentioned, the pound dollar got taken out today for a loss. I was long on USD CAD, got taken out for a loss because the dollar started losing value. So those are my two ideas. Now I'm being a little bit more patient. DXY kind of neutral, but on the US stock market, I am very bullish. S&P 500, very bullish in my opinion. We did get a bit of a sell-off on the 31st of July and on the 1st of August. Some red days, but quick recovery on the 4th of August. Big push to the upside. And yeah, that was a really quick recovery. Me personally, I am looking for buy setups on the NASDAQ, but I would look for a bigger pullback than we actually got. So this pullback was kind of too small for me. And on the NASDAQ, I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm going to be looking for, but I wanted to see a bit of a bigger pullback. So S&P 500 overall, I'm bullish. I think this can definitely continue going higher. By the end of the year, I think we can reach maybe 6.8, 6.9, something like that. Okay, maybe 6.8. But maybe that would be a more conservative target. Jay said, hey Marco, just started on Darwin X0 and a couple of prop firms. Thanks for your reviews, good content. Yeah, no worries. Thank you very much for the comment. And good luck. Good luck with those accounts. Let me know how you get on. So if you can write down which prop firms did you end up picking. So James has a question. How has the fundamental strategy been for you? Will it be in Zentum soon? So for the viewers that don't know, I have a trading community with Griff, and we teach traders how to go from zero to consistently profitable. So yes, I'm actually working on a course for the fundamental strategy. I have done filmed like 30 to 40% of the content. So I've filmed like the intro, breaking down a couple of trades. I've filmed how to do fundamental analysis. Today I'm gonna film how to read into central banks and interest rates. And then I still have how to measure the macro environment, how to do technical analysis, risk management, and some other videos. So I think by September, it should be done and it should be released. Okay, maybe like by the end of September. That's the goal. So yeah, I've structured most of the course. I've filmed 30% of it. And now I just need to film the rest and see if I'm missing anything or if I'm having any holes that I need to patch in terms of like concepts that are unclear, right? So I'm excited for that. And definitely, if you guys want to get notified, you can join our Discord for free. And of course, a notification will be in our Discord and you will get a notification on your email for the link. Go to here. So go to zentumtrading.com. Above, click join for free and just fill in this info, join, and you'll get notified about that. You'll also get access to my daily forecasts for free. And you will also get access to our free Discord. So I definitely encourage you guys to join. JC says FTMO funded next and 5%ers. Okay, great. I'm not sure about funded next. Never had any experience with them. I don't know anyone who is with funded next. But FTMO and the 5%ers are great. The most reliable, the oldest prop firms in the game. So if you do want to go the prop firm route, the safest option would be FTMO and the 5%ers. James says, nice man. And is it swing trading? Because I have a job trying to trade alongside it. Yes. So it is swing trading. It is basically like the Zentum technical strategy, but I'm looking at the daily chart. I can show you an example. Where's my silver position? So I'm looking at the daily chart, and I'm looking at fundamental analysis and macroeconomics. So what is Trump doing, for example? Here I took an entry as a sweep on the 1 hour chart. On the daily, we had a clear uptrend. We had a clear breakout out of the flat range, and I trailed the position. So I trailed the position on the daily chart. I just moved the stop loss below the swing lows. So I got taken out right here for around 1.6 reward to risk on this particular silver trade. So you don't even have to watch or wait for an entry on the 1 hour chart. You can just look for flags or break and retests on the daily chart, and you can just monitor the charts maybe once or twice per day. So I think it's even easier to trade than the Zentum technical strategy, and even more friendly if you have a full-time job that you're doing on the side. So definite swing trading strategy. Funded Next has got a good reputation. Newer prop for sure, but good reviews. We'll see how it goes overall. Only just started, so no issues yet. Hopefully none in the future either. Okay, cool, nice. Well, good luck. Good luck. Let me know how it goes. Yeah, so definitely good luck with that. If you don't want to pay the Darwin X0 fee, you can also go to Darwin X Classic and just deposit 1,000 euros into their broker, and then you're getting access to the same features as with Darwin X0, but you don't have to pay the monthly fee. So you can save some money by going with Darwin X Classic. And I think you can transfer your Darwin X0 track record to a Darwin X Classic account. So definitely, if you want to go that route, if you want to avoid paying for the monthly fee, you can do so. You just have to contact support. So that's a bit of a, how would you say, a tip. Okay, that's perfect. Heaps of time. Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to releasing that. I think it's a really good strategy. If you want to talk statistics, so our current Zentum technical strategy is, I would say, like the average reward to risk is probably like a 4-1. But the win rate is like maybe 25%, maybe 30%, okay? And the trade frequency, we trade 6 currency pairs, so it's not that great. And with this new strategy, the average reward to risk is around 1.8 to 1 with a win rate of around 45%. And the trade frequency is 1 to 2 trades per week. So it has a much higher win rate, which makes it much easier in terms of psychology and makes it much easier for prop firm trading. Because with prop firms, from the testing that I did, the best strategies are with a high win rate and a low reward to risk, so that you're winning a small amount every single day or every single week. That is how you get to phase 1, phase 2 funded stage the quickest. Low win rate strategies are not so great for prop firms. Okay. I wanted to say something else. And for this fundamental strategy, I trade pretty much every major Forex pair, some of the minor Forex pairs. I trade US indices. I trade Europe indices, such as the DAX. Nikkei, I've never taken a position, but I trade gold, silver, Bitcoin, and maybe US oil. So I trade a lot more stuff than I trade with the technical strategy. That's where I get more trades per week because I'm watching a lot more stuff. But again, just it's enough to go through the charts once per day, maybe twice per day, and you will see, you will get a good idea of what is good, what is bad. So Parv says, do you think indicators work? What kind of indicators? Do you think like RSI or volume or maybe like this session volume profile? I personally think that hey, what's up? How are you doing? I personally think for indicators that they can be used as a small extra confluence, but trading solely with indicators is not a smart thing to do. I think the edge you get with indicators is super small. All of them are derived except volume. Okay, volume is a story for its own, but all of the indicators are derived from one input, which is the price. So you cannot have a massive edge by having 5 or 10 indicators slapped on your chart. Indicators can be good if you use them as a small extra confluence to get into trades. So if you're looking at fundamental analysis, macroeconomic analysis, technical analysis, so price action, and then you add an indicator on top of that, like maybe a 20 EMA, maybe like an RSI, something like that, that could definitely be good, okay? So that could definitely work. Give me just 1 second. So that's what I think of indicators. Don't rely on them too much. They don't give you a massive trading edge. In fact, they don't give you a trading edge at all, in my opinion. Like traders that trade solely with 5 or 10 indicators, I don't know any trader that is consistently profitable throughout many years that uses just indicators. So sounds good. Just in calibration phase at the moment, looking to build a minimum of 1 year track record before moving to DarwinX Live. Okay, cool, no worries. So that's a good plan. I think the monthly rate is like maybe 25 or 30 euros. That's the fee. So yeah, just multiply that by 12 months and then you get how much you're paying for like 1 year of a subscription. So there are many options, but DarwinX Zero is great for the long term. Like prop firms, they're much more efficient for the short term. You can get funded much quicker, and you can reach a payout much quicker. But with DarwinX, the main goal is that long-term track record and getting some investors at the end. So it's all about combining both, right? So I'm doing both. I'm doing both DarwinX Zero and I'm doing prop firms as well. Like prop firms for the short term and then DarwinX Zero for the long term. Yeah, the technical strategy can be nice for yearly returns on a personal capital. Fundamental strategy makes sense for prop firms. Yeah, so why I started to trade it is I wanted to give myself more trades, so a higher trade frequency, and I wanted to have a higher win rate that I can trade alongside of the technical strategy. And with this fundamental approach, I don't have to do a lot more work, but I can have a higher win rate and I can take more trades because I'm watching a lot more stuff. I'm watching, again, a lot more currencies, and then you put gold, silver, US indices, Bitcoin, so German stock market. You can trade pretty much anything if you do a little bit of research, if you do a little bit of fundamental work so that you know which things to focus on. So if you guys have any other questions, make sure to put them in the chat. And I will continue with the analysis. So NASDAQ 100. Here's my watch list for today. So for the fundamental strategy, I'm watching at the NASDAQ, I'm watching at gold, I'm watching at the euro dollar. Let me just quickly run through for the technical strategy. If I'm seeing anything, I'm just gonna highlight it so that I know to go through it. Yeah, kind of nothing right now? Not much. Okay. Let me see. Aivi says, could you go through your reasoning on looking for euro dollar longs? Yeah, sure. So I do have the euro dollar on the watch list right now. And the way I like to do things is, well, there's three confluences. As I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, you have first fundamental analysis, second one is macroeconomics, and the third one is technical analysis. If you look at fundamental analysis, I will show you the edge finder right here, and I will show you the European economic heat map. So things are coming out, I would say, more bullish than expected. See impact on the underlying currency, which is the euro. Things are coming out more bullish than expected. I'm talking about the 8 key things you should look at. So with every economy, there is 8 key things that can explain the strength or weakness of the economy. That would be GDP, manufacturing, services, retail sales, CPI, PPI, unemployment rate, and the employment change. So these 8 are the most important ones. And most of them are actually coming out more bullish than expected for the euro. So you would look for longs on the euro. As far as the dollar goes, it is kind of neutral, right? So I'm not getting a really clear reading. If I go to the sort of the summary with the top setups, and this software just collects all of the numbers from, let's say, Forex Factory and puts them in a filter so that it's very easy to read what is bullish, what is neutral, what is bearish. So euro dollar right now is a bit neutral. So I cannot take a trade yet. I would wait for this software to actually show me a bullish bias for the euro dollar. That's what I'm personally waiting for. So the first part, I'm kind of missing the first part, so I can list it. Fundamental analysis. Okay, so that's kind of neutral right now, I would say. Second one is the macro. And the macro environment is people may be selling the US dollar, people may be flocking out of the US dollar into some other currencies because of the trade war. So Trump is again going crazy with the tariffs and with the trade war. So it may actually, the macro environment may be bullish for the euro dollar. Bullish with all of the crazy tariff stuff, okay? And the third thing would be technical analysis. I'm looking at the daily chart first, and then if everything is looking good, I drop it down to the 1 hour chart and I look for an entry. So for technical analysis, this is, in my opinion, it's in an uptrend. Okay. Sort of respecting this trend line, you could say, but overall, if you just look at this momentum, I would say it is definitely overall pushing to the upside with strong momentum. So I'm gonna put in bullish. Bullish, okay. What we can also do for fundamental analysis, something I forgot to do, sorry about that, is look at the central banks. So the ECB, which is European Central Bank, is expected to pause with cuts, which is neutral for the euro. But the Fed is expected to cut interest rates. What happens when the Fed cuts interest rates? The dollar loses value. So I would actually put slightly bullish here for the fundamentals because of central banks. Really important stuff, something you should definitely look at. So am I looking for an entry right now? No, I'm waiting for one more thing, which would be for this software, for the Edge Finder to give me a bullish reading. That's what I'm waiting for. If that happens, then all three of these things will point bullish, and then I can look for a setup. I can look for an entry on the 1 hour chart. And when I say entry, I mean just a regular push flag, push break and retest, descending structure, reversal setup, maybe even a liquidity sweep. I have taken sweeps. For example, the last liquidity sweep I've taken was on silver, like a sweep right there. So I'm using the entries we teach at Zentum Trading on the 1 hour chart to get in the trades. But that is the least important part. The actual entry on the 1 hour chart is the least important part of the strategy. Okay, so that's my reasoning for euro dollar longs, but I'm not yet looking for an entry. I need the edge finder to print bullish. It was bullish a couple of days ago, now it's back to neutral. That's just part of my trading plan. You know, that's how I back tested this strategy. So I need a bullish entry right there, and then I would be happy to look for buy setups on the euro dollar. Jay said, are you currently funded on any prop firms or just pursuing accounts right now? Yeah, I have a funded account on FTMO, 50K, Alpha Capital, 50K. I have a challenge with FTMO, which is a 100K challenge in phase 1. And I have my Darwin X0 account. And now because of Traders Connect, if you guys don't know, Traders Connect stopped supporting MetaTrader. And that basically means I cannot copy any trades to any of my accounts. I'm only copying trades from my 100K FTMO to my 50K funded FTMO. But I cannot use my personal IC Markets as a master account anymore, and that has been a big downside. That definitely creates a lot of work for me. So what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to implement a local trade copier. So a local trade copier through a VPS, so that I don't have to manually execute positions, that I still have a trade copier, but it's just gonna be a local one, so they don't have to deal with all that crap with MetaTrader, with CTrader, with legal stuff. So hopefully that should solve my issue. But right now I do have, if I decide to take a trade, I do have a lot of work because I need to copy that trade to like 5 accounts. So that is pretty time consuming. Okay, James says, I heard Kimmel is using Duplicium now. Yeah. I heard about Duplicium. I think I used them before Traders Connect. But my opinion is if Traders Connect for some reason dropped MetaTrader, the rest of the cloud copiers will soon do the same. Because there must have been some legal stuff in the background for them to drop MetaTrader. Like most of their business is coming from MetaTrader, right? So there's no logical sense why they would just drop MetaTrader if they didn't have to do it. So my thinking is that they were absolutely forced to do it, and that it's gonna happen to most of the other cloud copiers now as well, right? That's what I'm thinking. So do I want to switch to Duplicium, get in for a couple of months? Yeah, I can do it, but I think it's better to just do the work and set up a VPS trade copier. Like a local trade copier, and then I'm kind of set. You know, I don't have to watch what is going to happen to Duplicium. But it's a tough world with the trade copiers. You know, MetaTrader is the top dog, and 90% or even more are using MetaTrader. I'm a heavy user of MetaTrader. Okay, Parf says, what if someone trades only indicators to only signal personal coded and still has an edge and makes around 2 to 4% consistently on average per month? Well, I can only tell you that in my personal opinion, I've been heavy into trading from January 2021. I know a lot of profitable traders, but I don't know of any profitable trader that has a track record of more than a year that uses only indicators. Okay. So I know you wrote down personal coded indicators, so you may have a crazy market edge. I personally have never met a trader or heard about a trader who has a proven track record and uses only indicators. So that's just my experience. Maybe you know a couple of them, but again, I've been in this game for a couple of years now, and if that sort of a trader did exist, I think I would have heard about him right now. I only know there are some crazy technical scalpers. There is a lot of fundamental traders. Like most of the traders that are successful are using fundamental analysis. There's some guys trading robots, EAs, but they know when to turn the robot on and off. Okay, so they know when to switch the robot on and off, and that is the reason why they are profitable. So they are still not just letting the robot run. They are still assessing the market conditions in the background, and that is the key, turning on and off the actual EA, the actual robot. So AV says, thanks Marco for going through that. No worries. If you have any other requests, any other charts you want me to go through, definitely put it in the chat. James says, yeah, makes sense. That's my thinking. So as far as trade copiers go, I don't want to waste time setting up Duplicium if I think it's going to go down in the future. If something changes, maybe there was another reason why Traders Connect stopped working with MetaTrader. I don't know. There wasn't a statement with the exact reasoning. So maybe there was some internal battle in the company of Traders Connect. I have no idea. If that turns out to be the case, and if Duplicium still can have a legal relationship with MetaTrader, then I'll switch to Duplicium because cloud copiers are much easier and cheaper to set up than a local copier. With a local copier, you need a VPS and you need to have some expertise in setting it up. So it's not as straightforward as Duplicium or Traders Connect. I'm not sure about the speed as well. I'm not sure how fast it actually is. And again, cross-platform, MetaTrader to CTrader, CTrader to MetaTrader. We'll see how that works. So thank you guys very much for the questions. Very interesting questions, and keep them going if you have any other ideas. So we covered the euro dollar, NASDAQ. I was looking for buy setups, but I was looking for a pullback. At this point, price looked very good. I thought we were going to go down just a little bit more. I had some support levels that I marked out. So I had some areas I was looking for the price to reject from, but we never quite hit those areas. So we never quite reached these lower areas of support. And again, here we're just kind of overextended. It's just going up, it's not stopping, it's not pulling back, just exploding to the upside. So I don't really want to be buying. I don't really want to buy the highs. I don't think that's the smartest idea to buy these highs. So looking for buy setup, I was very interested to get in at this point. I liked the sell-off. I just wanted to see it sell off a little bit more, a little bit lower, and then I would get in. The main game plan is to get in on pullbacks and not to buy the highs, right? The reasoning, you're getting a much better risk to reward. I can buy right now. I can do it, but I would need to have a pretty large stop loss, and we are really close to all-time highs. But if we pull back a little bit and I manage to get in here, now I need to have a much smaller stop loss, and I have a lot of room for us to hit these all-time highs. So your reward to risk becomes much more attractive if you're able to get in a bit lower, right? So that is the game plan for the NASDAQ. Some fundamental reasons why I love the NASDAQ is US economy is still doing well. We are nowhere near a recession. We're still getting some healthy numbers overall. Artificial intelligence should hit technology companies first. So artificial intelligence actually replaces workers and improves profit margins, improves the stock price. and thus pushes the NASDAQ higher because the NASDAQ is top 100 technology stocks. So for 25, for 26, maybe even for 27, out of all of the indices that we have from the United States, I like the NASDAQ the most because artificial intelligence should impact the NASDAQ the most. Okay, so James has a question. So have you ever thought about targeting a 2-to-1 reward to risk for technical strategy to increase the win rate? Yes, I did. We did test it as well. I think Griff and I did it, or Nico and I did it like a year ago, and it didn't turn out well. You increased the win rate a little bit, but you missed the biggest setups, and you're really relying on the on the biggest setups, on the biggest winners to get you out of the drawdowns. So it actually doesn't work as well as you would think it would. Now for this fundamental strategy, I'm hitting around 1.8 to 1 reward to risk, and that's pretty healthy. I'm really happy with that. But again, on the daily chart, you get trends that last for a longer time. You get trends that are more stable, and you can trail your stop loss much more efficiently than on the 1 hour, because on the 1 hour you get a lot of noise. You know, you get a crazy tweet from Trump, you get a crazy NFP event, you get a crazy central bank decision, and it can mess up your whole position. While on the daily, what prevails most of the time, what prevails is a strong uptrend or a strong downtrend. So we did try it. Seemed like a good idea at the time, but we found that if you are gonna do it, your edge gets eroded. Your edge basically disappears. You make very little profits. So with a technical strategy, as I mentioned, you're relying on the big winners to get you out of the drawdown and to make you most of the profits. Okay, interesting. Thanks. I was thinking of testing it, but I may not now. Thanks for saving me time. Yeah, no worries. I mean, look, that was our personal testing. So you may come up with something different. If you really want to do it, I suggest you do. But I think there is better ways to spend your time than doing that. Okay, maybe checking out fundamental analysis, maybe looking at the higher time frames, using the daily chart as a confluence. Okay, if you want to stick to purely technical analysis. So that's my advice. I don't think a 2-to-1 works as well as I thought, or as you think. And yeah, there's a lot of other stuff you can test. Maybe add the daily chart with the 1 hour chart, because the daily trend is really powerful, right? Something that I noticed that played a really important part in the last few months was making the stop loss bigger and trailing my position on the daily chart with the fundamental strategy. It gives you so much more room for the trade to breathe, because often we are correct about the direction of the trade. Even with our technical strategy, we are correct about the direction, but our stop loss is pretty tight at around 10 to 20 to 30 pips, and we trail the stop loss on the 1 hour chart, so we get stopped out prematurely, and then the price moves in our direction. I've had that happen a lot of multiple times. So what you can try, if you want to stick to just technical analysis, you can try making the stop loss a bit bigger, but then trailing your position on the daily chart with the same rules instead of the 1 hour chart. I think that could bring more success to test. So the third thing I want to show you guys that's on the watch list is gold. So gold right now looks flat on the daily chart. But again, we have three major parts. We have first fundamental analysis. For now, fundamental is kind of neutral. Okay. Second, the macro is bullish. And let me tell you why the macroeconomic environment is bullish. because you're getting some uncertainty. If you're watching tariffs on financial news, tariffs are going crazy. So Trump has brought tariffs back. Everyone thought it was gonna go away, but then Trump surprised everyone, and now he's slapping on massive tariffs on India, some on Russia, China, Switzerland, and that creates uncertainty. One thing that gold likes is uncertainty. So when there is uncertainty in the world, gold loves to go up. Okay, so gold loves going to the upside. Billy says, Marco, do you reply to your Instagram DMs? I had a question for you. Yeah, I'm not active on Instagram that much. Sorry about that. But what's your username? I'll take a look. So if you can just write down your username, I will take a look. Best way to reach me is if you join our free Discord and then send me a message there. Okay, so Zentum Trading. Join the free Discord. There you will see my profile. I'm really active, and you can send me a DM. I love Discord. So Instagram, I kind of hate it, and I rarely watch the messages, almost never. But Discord is where you can reach me. So yeah, but just put your username in the chat, and I'll take a look at my Instagram as well. Yeah, gold, tariffs, uncertainty, bullish for gold. Second thing, there's kind of, if you're following it, there's a bit of a war in the Fed, which is the central bank of the United States. So the Fed is the central bank of the United States, and there's a bit of a war going on. No one knows what's going to happen. Trump wants to put his guy in charge of the Fed. Powell, who is currently the main guy, seems to be going out. There may be a new leader, and one person quit recently. There's a bit of a politics war going on. What does that create? The summary would be that creates uncertainty. Okay, so that the war in the central bank of the United States creates uncertainty. Investors and traders lose confidence in the United States, which makes gold go up. So that's a second catalyst, second macro catalyst why I think gold is bullish. And third one, technical analysis, I would say slightly bullish actually, because overall we are in a massive uptrend. Okay, overall we are in a massive uptrend, but I'm not yet looking for buy setups. For me to look for buy setups, first I would need to see fundamental analysis flip to bullish. So I would need to see Edgefinder show me a bullish signal here. That's actually bullish. Okay, so sorry, that is bullish. Let me correct that. It keeps switching every day. Then I need just a breakout. This is the technical analysis is slightly bullish, so I would need to see a breakout to the upside out of this level of resistance. We're just now stuck in this range. I don't want to get into a trade here. I don't want to get chopped around. I already took a buy position. Not that one. Not that one. Yeah, this one. So I already took a buy setup and I got taken out. So I don't want to get chopped around this. That's why I'm first looking for a breakout to the upside. I'm looking for a breakout out of these, out of this level of resistance. And if I get that, I'll have all three confluences pointing higher, and I can get in on a buy setup. That's the game plan. And yeah, you can see, like I took 3 setups this year with this strategy. First one was a 2.1, 2.6, and then a -1 loss. Or sorry, this was a reduced risk loss because I moved my stop loss. Just show you this. The last one. So I actually trailed my stop loss when we had this move. So my initial stop loss was here, and then I moved it below the actual swing low. And then I got taken out for a small loss. Let's see more questions. Instagram can be annoying. It's just a random question I had. Yeah, no worries, no worries. So I'll take a look, but you can either put your username in this chat, or you can find me on Discord as well. And if you have any more questions, much better to send them on Discord. So anything that you're interested in, you can ask me. It's not a problem. James says, my last question would be, have you tested using ATR for stop loss for the technical strategy? I personally haven't, but Griff has, I believe. So if you want to know more about that, you should send a DM to Griff. Griff has been testing that, and I think he actually did take a position, or he actually did implement that into his live trading. He has the ATR indicator running on the bottom. So like this, ATR. And he determines his stop loss size according to the ATR. It's a little like for a little help, you know. It's not a definite answer. He doesn't always use the value, but sometimes it can guide him to use the right stop loss size for the technical strategy. So yeah, just send Griff a DM and I'm sure he will have some insights for you. Adam says, Marco, what do you think the best way to manage multiple fund accounts without using a trade copier? Do you think it is better to trade one account at a time than moving to the other account? Well, are you talking about challenge accounts or are you talking about funded accounts? So because it's different. And are you a scalper or are you a swing trader? Yeah, no worries, James. No worries. Depends on how many trades you're taking. If you're a swing trader, it doesn't make sense to go from one account to the other. It makes sense to connect all of them together and to trade them at the same time because you're not getting a big trade frequency, right? If you're taking 1 to 2 trades per week, as I am, then you will never, and if you just trade one account at a time, then you will never reach your targets and you won't make much. So you are talking about fund accounts. Okay, so you have passed phase 1, passed phase 2, and you are a swing trader. I would say if you're a swing trader, I would trade them all at the same time. If you do have a good trading edge, I would, if you can, connect them to a trade copier. If not, manual execution on all of the accounts. Because again, as a swing trader, you're getting maybe 1 to 3 trades per week and the trade frequency is too small to do significant damage on multiple accounts. But if you're trading them all at the same time, then you can definitely do some damage in terms of profits. I don't mean like to blow the account. And if you're if you think it's too much risk, you can always risk less per position. You know, risk 0.5% per trade. I got 3 now, and it's difficult to manage all of them. What software are you using? Is it MetaTrader? You should definitely consider getting a trade copier. It will help you a lot. I remember, actually right now I'm doing manual execution because of Traders Connect. They banned MetaTrader. But now I can see how much time a trade copier saves me. So if you can write down which software you're using, maybe it's MatchTrader, DXTrade, CTrader. Okay, CTrader. Hey, well, CTrader, you can use Traders Connect with CTrader. They still support CTrader. So my advice would be to connect them all on Traders Connect Trade Copier or a trade copier of your choice. Okay, up to you, but it's gonna save you a lot of time, and it's really easy to set up. These cloud copiers are really easy to set up. So you have the link in the description. If you want to help out the channel, you can use my link. If you don't want to use my link, just go to Traders Connect. This one, click it, and create an account. Okay, but you can see important information regarding MetaTrader platforms, and MetaTrader 4 and 5 are no longer supported. So yeah, unfortunately, MetaTrader is screwed. But CTrader is still running, and I do have my 2 prop firm accounts connected to Traders Connect because I'm using CTrader for FTMO. Okay, so that's kind of it. If you guys have any last minute questions, this would be the end of the stream, but if you have any last minute questions, make sure you put them in the chat. If you want to check out the Edge Finder, you can do so by clicking the link. I believe I have it in the description, and using my code, which is MARKO. I think it's a 15 or a 20% discount. As I mentioned, a course for fundamental strategy is coming out for Zentum, but I'm doing it in a way that you don't have to buy the Edge Finder software. Again, I'm going to put processes in place which should help you to do the fundamental analysis, and you can follow what I'm doing. So yeah, basically it's not going to be needed to purchase, but if you do want to get it, you can check it out. You can use my code if you want to help out the channel. If you want to join Zentum Trading for free, you can do so right here. And if you want to send me a message, best way to do it is to join our free Discord community. Find my profile, just MARKO, that's the name of the profile. Send me a message and we can solve anything that you need to solve. Quick summary of the watch list. For the fundamental strategy, NASDAQ, I want to buy it. I want to see a pullback first. Gold, I want to buy it. I want to see a breakout first. Euro dollar, I want to buy it. I'm just waiting for a bullish fundamental reading from the Edge Finder. As far as the technical strategy goes, I know today we have a lot of traders that trade this strategy. Quick run through the currency pairs. I'm not seeing much, to be honest. It's looking very corrective on the 1 hour chart. The only thing I could see is maybe ascending channels on the AJ and New Zealand yen. So these are bearish patterns. Maybe reversal on Aussie yen, possibly reversal on the New Zealand yen, but it doesn't look that clean. So yeah, that would be it. Thank you guys very much for watching. Good luck in the markets, and see you next week on Thursday. So yeah, also quickly, if you want to get updates on my live stream schedule, you can follow me on Instagram at Marcos Trading Journey, and I post updates when I will be streaming. My fixed day is usually Thursday, 4 p.m. London time. That's my fixed time when I stream on most weeks. So Thursday, 4 p.m. London time. That's it. Thanks, Adam. Thank you, everyone, for watching.